Chapter 13. He had forgotten what fresh air felt like. Filling his nostrils and lungs, it felt good with his back pressed against the house. He stood still for a moment, just breathing. All the months he'd spent inside suddenly seemed like a dream. He'd been like some confused animal hibernating during nice weather. The last real thing that had happened to him was being called inside when the woods were coming down. Real life was outdoors. But so was danger, and the longer he stayed out, the greater the danger. He forced himself down into a crouch and half crawled, half ran alongside the house and the hedges and the barn. At the back edge of the barn, he hesitated, staring into the seemingly endless gulf between the barn and the trees at the boundary between his backyard and the sports families. Everybody's gone, he told himself. There's not a soul around to see you. Still, he waited, staring at the blades of grass just beyond his feet. He'd been taught all his life to fear open spaces, like the one in front of him. It faced dozens of windows. He'd never stepped foot in any place that public, even if it was deserted. Still hidden by the barn, he made himself inch his foot forward. Then he drew it back. He turned around and looked at his family house, so safe and secure, his sanctuary. He heard his mother's voice in his head. "Luke, inside, now." It seemed so real, he remembered something he'd read in one of the old books in the attic about telepathy. Supposedly, if people really loved you, they could call out to you from miles away if you were in danger. He should go back. He'd be safe there. He took a deep breath, looking forward towards the sports family house, and then back again towards his own. He thought about returning home, trudging up the worn stairs, going back to his familiar room and the walls he stared at every day. And suddenly he hated his house. It wasn't a sanctuary, it was a prison. Before he had time to think again, he pushed himself off into a sprint, recklessly streaking across the grass. He didn't even stop to hide at any trees. He ran right to the sports family door and tugged at the screen. It was locked.